Now on CoastTV News.
Farms versus development.
I want that protected.
A Sussex County family doesn't want to see more than 200 homes built right next door.
Government shutdown continues.
They're very short-handed.
How the shutdown is disrupting daily life in Sussex County.
Hallett Village stats.
Those are impressive numbers considering the housing crisis that we are in.
The number of people finding housing and the number that end up back in the woods.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
This land may soon be home to more than 200 homes. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with a proposal that could change life for the farmer next door.
The land in question sits between New Road and Lighthouse Road in Selbyville. According to the applicant, more housing and the types of housing that would be built would be beneficial to the area. But one neighbor is speaking out against that plan. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Selbyville. Kevin, the farmer next to the land says the development would be terrible for her business.
Maddie, right behind me is the land in question, where right now it's zoned for agricultural use. But the applicant submitted a request to the Sussex County Council to change that zoning so that they can have residential development. But the farm next door says that could affect their hunting. McGee Farms has been a family operation since 1865. Along with growing crops and selling goods to the public, they also use their land for recreational hunting, something Ellen McGee says is now in jeopardy.
Family members before me have had the right to hunt, to shoot guns for 160 years. I want that protected.
On Tuesday, the Sussex County Council held a public hearing for the request to rezone land next to McGee Farm and build the Marlin Cove development. According to the proposal, the plan calls for 210 units, 106 homes, and 104 duplexes across the over 60-acre land, something McGee says would be uncommon for this area of land.
This whole block of land, if you take an aerial view, has no developments on it.
To see what she means, we took our CoastTV News drone to get a bird's eye view. We reached out to Marlin Cove LLC for comment, but they said they were unavailable at this time, so we looked into the application ourselves. According to the applicant's request form, Marlin Cove fits in the surrounding area, is already near an existing commercial development, and offers a variety of housing options. McGee understands that more housing could bring in more revenue, but she believes the bad outweighs the good.
I welcome the public to come to this farm, and they do help our business because they come and buy fruits and vegetables. But the houses, it's just a lot.
For now, the future of the property remains uncertain. Now, the Sussex County Council did not make a decision at the public hearing, but they deferred it so that they can make a decision at a later date. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Selbyville, CoastTV News.
Not the only possible development in Selbyville. Right across from McGee Farms, construction is already underway. Bay Knolls has dozens of homes and is in the process, you can see there, of building even more.
Both the Sussex County VA Clinic and the Social Security Office are open with appointments continuing right now, but it's a different story over at the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there in Prime Hook. Emma, all the events there have been paused, and this is due to the government shutdown.
Charlie, here at the Prime Hook Refuge, the visitor center is closed even during normal business hours when it would normally be opened. Guided bird walks, a photography contest, and all of the events over the past few weeks are canceled due to the government shutdown and will continue to be paused throughout it. You can still enjoy the refuge and walk the trails, but Friends of Prime Hook say staff here are furloughed and there's no one available to answer the phone. Over at the Social Security Administration in Georgetown, 3 weeks into the government shutdown, the building is still open, but some people who had appointments there today say the office is now short-handed. The Sussex County VA clinic remains open, and one veteran we spoke with says his health care has continued as normal. Another man who lives near the refuge here says he's looking forward to Prime Hook returning to normal.
I found that pretty unfortunate that they can't do some of these activities because the weather's just been so great, and it makes it difficult to find a good time of year to do it, and this is a perfect time, unfortunately.
While the visitor center is closed and those events are canceled here, the bathrooms are still open for those visiting the refuge to use. Reporting live here in Prime Hook, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
The Pallet Village in Georgetown is a community that currently houses 42 people who were previously homeless to try to get them back on their feet. The village released new numbers of their progress, as homelessness in Georgetown has prompted some people to make a Facebook page saying the homelessness issue there is a big problem. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Georgetown. Brandon, the program manager for the Pallet Village, says the numbers released are about transparency.
And Maddie, if you look behind me, you can see through this fence here some of the pallet houses here in the Pallet Village. There's 42 in total. The program manager for Springboard Delaware saying since 2023, 201 people have come here through the Pallet Village in Georgetown. But in new numbers released, some people are moving to permanent housing while others are heading back to the streets.
Suzanne Wise has lived in the Springboard Collaborative's Georgetown Pallet Village since last May and says she was barely functional before coming to the village. Wise says no one in the village is causing problems in the town.
I feel that we're getting the wrong impression to the public. It's really the people that are living in the woods that are doing this.
New data provided by the village shows out of the 201 total people who have lived here, 59 secured housing. 46 left the village with no home, with 24 going to the woods in Georgetown, and the remaining 22 being driven to places outside of Georgetown.
We feel that for the naysayers, for the people who may have questionable, opinions of the village, we really want them to have the facts.
Hill acknowledges that roughly 23% of all people that came through the village ended up back on the streets, which she actually sees as a positive.
Those are impressive numbers considering the housing crisis that we are in.
Hill says some of those people had to be asked to leave the village for breaking the rules, such as using drugs or panhandling. But some in Georgetown are publicly skeptical of the Pallet Village's success and safety.
I've given the chief information on the drug deal at the gates of Pallet Village. It was done every Friday at 7:20 to 7:30.
Hill hopes these new numbers help people understand their goal to help people transition from temporary to permanent housing.
I believe in transparency. A lot of the shelters do not share their data.
The Pallet Village has been open since 2023.
Georgetown Mayor Bill West telling Coast TV last week that the town is not ignoring the homeless problem. West says they are actively looking at ways to send people out of town that come here to use the services, but instead, according to West, stay and use drugs. Live in Georgetown, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what does a new Pallet Village data, that new data, what does it say to you?
Let's take a look at the updated results. 43% say not sustainable, but 35% say the program is working. 1% say needs fixing, and 21% say it's better than nothing.
We do have a comment from Dave. He says this program works for the ones who really want to do better. The Springboard community is a very good stepping stone to get back on your feet.
If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttv.com or the mobile app, and we'll show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Milford as we turn it over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams with a look at our forecast.
So where we are right now, listen, we're totally clear at this point. Very comfortable, beautiful looking day. And do you know what? Tomorrow is actually usually when we have the first frost of the year. We're going to be pretty close to that. At least we're going to have the feeling of frost, if nothing else. We're going to drop to 56 degrees in Ocean City by 10 o'clock with mostly clearing skies. Now, we have clearing skies and relatively light winds. That's a good combination for frost. We might not quite make the mark for tomorrow, but we do have some very blustery winds for us, actually, in Castle Haven as well as Cambridge. So we have that also for Madison as well as Taylor's Island. And we're looking pretty clear throughout a good portion of the entire Delmarva Peninsula, now that the fronts push through. Coming up, we're going to talk about how frosty it's going to feel and when that real frost is going to finally step up to the plate.
Thank you, Paul. The Milton Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously in favor of the final site plans presented for a Dunkin' Donuts. The drive-through would be at 403 Broadkill Road. People we've spoken with who live in Milton have mixed opinions about what the new store could bring to the town other than the obvious, coffee. The Planning and Zoning Commission's approval is the next step in the effort to bring a Dunkin' to Milton that began last year.
New at 6, 2 people have been arrested after police say they threatened others with a handgun with a gun in Milford. That is according to the Milford Police Department. Officers say a 17-year-old pulled the gun on 3 people sitting in a car in the area you see on your screen now and demanded they get out, but they drove off. Police later arrested the teen at Milford High School and say they found 2 untraceable handguns and ammo in his car. A 19-year-old, Ivan Saliz, was also arrested for his involvement.
In traffic news, a heads up for drivers on Route 1 near Milton. DelDOT says beginning Monday, the 27 crews will install pavement markings and signs to reconfigure crossovers on Route 1 between Broadkill River and Red Fox Lane. According to DelDOT, this will improve safety by reducing conflict points. Again, they've been getting rid of crossovers for a number of months, or attempting to stop some accidents. But to do that, DelDOT says you should expect delays due to lane closures. In Milford, a planned power outage is planned for Saturday. Milford says it's got a complete upgrade, so that outage will impact the West Shores development, Bay Health, Pam Rehabilitation Center, the Windward Grove development, Nemours Children's, and the Southeast Water Tower, according to Milford. The planned outage will take place this Saturday from 7 to 3. And we have a lot more news to get to this evening.
Dewey Beach turns spooky. What Dewey has in store for the weekend's early Halloween celebrations.
And now that the winds are dying down and we have clear skies, we're going to have a bit of a frosty feel in the forecast. I'll explain all that in a moment.
But first, the state of Delaware says it needs help recovering from last week's coastal storm, what Governor Matt Meyer is hoping for in a new letter, when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
This is what Bethany Beach's coastline looks today. It was just last week the nor'easter left multiple beach communities in Delaware with erosion.
That's what urged Delaware Governor Matt Meyer to send a letter to the Trump administration yesterday asking for federal support to restore the coastline and affected infrastructure.
Today we went out to Delaware's coastal communities and spoke with people who say they hope federal help comes.
I really hope that someone can whisper into the president's ear, hey, listen, there may not be 20 million, 30 million, 50 million voters in Delaware, but do what's right. Grant them the money.
The Bethany Beach mayor says federal funding for beach replenishment, it's been hard to come by in the midst of coastal storm season. He says he's hopeful to see federal help this spring to protect coastal towns.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in the First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast after this.
Now that we're enjoying somewhat clear skies, winds are backing off a little bit as well, so that's helpful in enjoying a scene like this. This time, we're looking at the beach and the surf is not so rough. Finally, we're able to kind of catch our collective breath in that sense. And at Rehoboth Beach, we're holding at about 62 degrees right now. We will drop down 56. Now, notice how clear we're going to be for the rest of the night. Well, that's the whole key to how things are going to start to change over to a real frosty feel in the air. We're looking very clear across the Delmarva Peninsula for right now. We have a small craft advisory that's active on the western side of the peninsula throughout the Chesapeake Bay area. Other than that, we're looking at cooler air to our west and thick precipitation to our northwest. But that rain's going to stay up there out of our way. We're at 66 degrees right now in Redden. It's 60 degrees even in places like Long Neck, Milford, Harrington, Bridgeville, Millsboro. But we're expecting for the temperatures to fall. Here we go. We've been talking about all week long into the 30s. Not just in one place now. We're talking about, with the exception of the beaches, everywhere else, maybe the exception being Ocean Pines, but I wouldn't bet on that. I think they're going to hit 39 degrees to be honest. But the same clear skies will allow you to enjoy the meteor shower tonight. Now you're going to see up to 20 meteors per hour. This is from 1 o'clock until the sun comes up. Mostly clear skies. Now it will be chilly, so you need to be mindful of that. And just in case, you're irritated by how chilly it's going to become, to be honest, the first frost typically happens October the 23rd. In case you were wondering, the first freeze typically, or climatologically speaking, November the 10th. For tomorrow during the day, sunshine but chilly early, 65 for the high. in Seaford, and we're looking for a high of 65 in Cambridge as well as Vienna, and we anticipate a high of 65 in Berlin and Snow Hill. For Thursday along the beaches, we're going to be in the 60s as well. Note that the winds are going to be moving out of the west between 11 to up to 16 miles per hour, but that's a far cry from the small craft advisory that we've been carrying over for several days and several weeks for that matter. So Thursday morning, we start off in the 40s, clear skies after the sun comes up. Now then after that, temperatures will ride into the 60s. Friday, the same story, even cooler on Friday, okay? And then we'll begin to recover. So Thursday, 66, Friday, 62, Saturday, 60 degrees. Notice we're trending downward in Chincoteague and Assateague, but not just there. In Ocean City, we'll drop down to 57 by Saturday. And that's for the high, not the low, and 59 for the high, Rehoboth Beach as well. Here's a look at your extended forecast. If you're going out to the Sea Witch Festival, keep in mind you got to get your car out of the way because they're going to start moving them out of the way if they're in the way.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, everyone. It is a jam-packed Wednesday in the sports world. The NBA is back, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the Blue Hens take the field Wednesday night for more midweek Conference USA football. At 7:30, tune in to ESPN2 to catch Delaware football taking on Middle Tennessee State. The Blue Hens are coming off a loss to Jacksonville State in their last contest, hoping for a bounce back against the Blue Raiders. The Blue Hens will also be rocking brand new midnight jerseys in the tub for the first time ever. Hopefully that will help them get the result that they are looking for. And the other big story of the night, of course, is more NBA teams are back in action. Among them, the Sixers and Wizards kick off their seasons on the road. First up is the Sixers, who are shipping up to Boston to take on the Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Joel Embiid is not in the injury report Wednesday night, so for now, all signs point to him making his return to the NBA regular season for the first time since this past February. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 7:30. And also tonight, the new-look Wizards head to Milwaukee to take on Giannis and the Bucks. Chris Middleton will be out there looking for revenge against his former team. Tip-off for that game is set for 8 o'clock. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
With Halloween around the corner, Dewey Beach is getting spooky early this weekend. The Dewey Business Partnership is set to hold a haunted zombie beach spooktacular and haunted graveyard October 24th and 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Just a great community event. Like this is the rising tide. Everybody comes into into town for the Rehoboth Parade, to Lewis events, to Dewey events. It's just everyone's having a great time, and we're just glad to be part of it.
Almost 20 volunteers have helped arrange haunted houses, beach bonfires, and live music for that event there in Dewey Beach.
So in Dover, we're still expecting to stay cloudy there, but it'll start to clear out slowly by 10 o'clock. For the folks that view us over on the western portions of the Delmarva Peninsula, keep in mind you still have an active small craft advisory there, but it's not as breezy other locations. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Gary. Congratulations from Berlin. You're our wonderful winner. By the way, keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, sponsored by the law office of Brockstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And here's a look at our exclusive 10-day forecast. Okay, let's have a counseling moment for everyone. Yes, we are going to be looking at the 30s, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
But not all day.
No, not all day long. It's going to warm up nicely.
And you might need to dig out some of those coats. Start getting ready. It is going to get a little cooler.
A fashion opportunity.
All right, thank you, Paul. And hey, thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.